She still has holding tough. Just can't keep this woman down. She will always be around. She knows how to make things right. Sweet brown goddess of life, linda chicana, nueva chicana, what a lady, linda chicana, nueva chicana. I will sing her praise out loud. She makes me oh so proud. She's my connection to this world, my mama and my baby girl. Just can't keep this woman down. She will always be around. She knows how to make everything right. Sweet brown goddess of life, mi linda chicana, nueva chicana, what a linda chicana, nueva chicana, mi linda chicana, nueva chicana, what a lady, mi linda chicana, si se puede, nueva chicana. I will sing her praise out loud, 'cause she makes me oh so proud. She's my connection to this world, my mama and my baby girl. Just can't keep this woman down. She will always be around. She knows how to make everything right. Sweet brown goddess of life, mi linda chicana, nueva chicana, what a lady, linda chicana, nueva chicana, mi linda chicana, si se puede, nueva chicana, what a lady. I will always keep her warm in my arms. Nueva chicana, oh, mi linda chicana, nueva chicana, what a lady, linda chicana, nueva chicana.
We have a great lineup of entertainment, information, and it's a 2-day event. So not only are we celebrating today, but as well as tomorrow. And with that being said, I'm honored to introduce to you Board President Amelia Enrique.
Thank you so much for joining us today virtually and for all that came today to make it possible to have this event, to celebrate the Centro Cultural de la Raza. The theme for this year's 50th anniversary is que sigue el movimiento de nuestro florecimiento. It is 50 years of lucha, movimiento y florecimiento. It speaks to each of our own individual growth and the process we have both individually and as a community. Today we're kicking off an inaugural weekend of celebrations like Javier mentioned. Today we're having a virtual program from 4 o'clock until who knows when. Let's see how long it goes. And then tomorrow we have an in-person event that's going to be featuring over 50 works from the archive of Centro. That's long history of artistry, artesania, and movimiento here in the Centro. We're also going to be having a poster exhibit tomorrow in which people can see submissions from places as far as Arizona. We'd like to also thank all the people that are here today because the fundraising campaign is meant to go towards continuing the Centro's mission to educate, promote, and create and preserve Chicano, Indígena, Latino, and Mexicano culture. As long as we do it together, I'm sure that we can make this happen. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Javier because we have a lineup that's going to start now, and they're waiting for us.
All right. And make sure to donate. We got a link up on the website, so make sure you donate and help us continue the great work that they do here at the Centro. With that being said, danza history. Toltecas in Aslan, the artist collective founded in the Centro, included Danzantes Aztecas and the organization of the first danzas in the United States. There are about 8 danza circles in San Diego region honoring the legacy of those who brought danza to Chicanos and Chicanas in San Diego. And with that, we'd like a little bit of representation of these local groups who do this so much with passion and love. What a great performance right there, representing the 8 danza circles here in San Diego. A beautiful cultural performance. Every time I see that or feel that, I get goosebumps.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. It connects right to you. There's no getting out of the stink you get.
Right. Just so much love, so much cultura, passion. I always say drink cultura. There's so much culture to enjoy here today. Once again, welcome to the Centro's 50th anniversary celebration gala and fundraiser. Don't forget you could donate, make a donation. We have a link on the bottom of the pages, and make a donation today. In fact, we have a number right now.
Yes, so I believe we started off the event today with $840 of donations. So thank you so much to the community who made that possible just in this short period of time. I also want to take a little bit of time just to say thank you to the danza groups that were here today. Danza Cualicue, Danza Mexicayo, Danza Trayolotli, all resident groups here at the Centro. They have, check out our calendar online. You can attend any of their classes that they have available and posted online. We also have Calpulli Mexica. Some of the members of Calpulli Mexica bring us the Tiaños de la Raza every third Sunday of the month. So I think next we're going to the theater.
Yes, there's so much here. Teatro has been a central to the artistic expression of our people for a very, very long time, preserving these stories and the narrative of the community. In fact, growing up in the Salinas Valley, Teatro Campesino was a big part of who I was growing up, and seeing that, basically every event that was associated with the UFW, Teatro Campesino was part of that. So it's great to see that expanded Teatro, legacy throughout Aztlán.
Yes, and it's really important for us to bring these types of presentations to our own spaces. We often go out to see the arts, and it's really important that we refocus ourselves and see that they're actually within us and they're within our own communities. And the more we give from ourselves to these community spaces like the Centro, the more we're able to help them grow as well as influence the youth to come too. The next presentation that we have for you is one very dear to my heart. We're here to showcase a vignette performance by one of the original founders of El Centro, Sigue Enrique, also my mother. We offer 50 years of heartbeats, the past, the present, and the future. A multidisciplined stage reading. Enjoy.
We have no place of our own to meet, to teach, to dance, to practice and to sing and dance, to create art and where we express our culture in all forms. No recognized place for a cultural identity to manifest to the complexity, beauty, and life.
So, no key to the changing law. We pushed our way into a small opening between the doors. Dusty, dim, dirty, but honest. We began, we rehearsed, we met, planned classes, sessions, painted, collected, realizing the dream of what would be within the cobweb wall of the old empty brown brick cement building.
And the city had their plans. The city had made and wanted to take us out. We fought for our cultural and we stood up blindly. We would not abandon our dreams. We would not be evicted.
Under threats of jail and many frustrating meetings with the city, we finally were allowed a building on the east side of our old park. An empty gray brown cement water tank. No address, no name, just what we called El Tanque across from the Navy Hospital and El Parque Balboa. Empty water tank. At the Chicano Park, the Chicano Health Center, radio station, the Chicano Federation, and many facets of Chicano movement in San Diego, throughout the community in areas of the South Protectors, in Aztlán, in the Vallejo Puerto Rico, in Aztlán together. The fair partner, well, just
floors, cement floors holding up a wooden plank were molded into the floor space. Our collective efforts transfer this enemy wildcat into the core of our cultural expression and pride. Form community art activism, involvement and work at the Centro is one of the few cultural centers that still stand after 5 decades. The Centro Cultural de La Raza proudly symbolizes community, culture, and pride, true to its purpose to create, protect, promote, and educate about Chicano, Mexicano, indigenous, and Latin art and culture.
Thank you for that wonderful video. I loved it. That was beautiful.
Yes, so beautiful, so beautiful.
You know, since the Centro's beginning, there's always been a relationship with the local Kumeyaay community. We recognize the land, the territory on which the Centro resides.
Yes, so here to represent and begin with traditional bird song blessings of the local Kumeyaay Nation is Dr. Stanley Rodriguez, Tribal Councilman for the Santa Isabel Band of Ipai Nation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leah Oviedo from the Centro Reservation, and I'm representing some songs. Just want to say, I grew up in Florida Street, but there's many Indian communities that we live at. So then this first song we talked about this land is part of who we are. This land is Alina Mr. Indigenous land, and you know it. And that is the place that you stay there. This global preservation of culture is so important to all of us that we are not forgotten, that our people are not forgotten, that our indigeneity is continued, is passed down to the next generation. So that the people who started this, the people who inhabited it, this family is an honor.
Beautiful song by Dr. Stanley Rodriguez, an amazing song for everybody here who's, celebrating with us the 50th anniversary of el Centro Cultural de la Raza. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ariana Gallegos. Shout out to everybody who's out there, supporting the Centro Cultural. Remember, go to the webpage, www.gofundme.com, Centro 50th. Remember, our goal is to raise $10,000. So please help us out and donate some money so that we can continue to fulfill our hearts with all of this cultura. I wanted to introduce as well board member Maria Figueroa, who is the chair of the Community Advisory Committee, who is here to offer a few words and also to facilitate a conversation between two former Centro Cultural de la Raza curators, Patricio Chavez and Eloisa de León.
Figueroa, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here in this historic space as a volunteer and a community member and part of this legacy of the 50 years. I have the pleasure of interviewing or facilitating a conversation between two former curators here at the Centro. To my left is Patricio Chavez. Patricio Chavez was the visual arts curator and acting director at the Centro Cultural de la Raza in the early 1990s. He worked curating exhibits, which toured nationally and internationally, with about 6 in-house exhibitions annually that primarily was work from and among the border region.
Later on, we're going to hear a little bit from Eloisa de Leon, also a curator here at the Centro Cultural de la Raza in the 1990s, a native San Diegan, but now living in New York, served as a performance curator for the Centro Cultural de la Raza and executive director for the San Diego Dance Alliance. And I want to welcome them both. Patricio, it's so good to see you. Please share some words with us here.
Well, first of all, it's very much an honor to be here today. It was an honor to work here. I came in 1989 from New Mexico to be the visual arts curator here at the Centro Cultural. And I was here until about 96. But what I wanted to really talk about or stress was how important it is to have this local treasure here in San Diego. And what's very special is that it connects not only to a national movement in terms of indigenous cultures, but an international movement. And that was always what we stressed then and we stress now. And I think it's so relevant, especially today. We at that time were helping facilitate or acted as a catalyst in the narrative that was going on about the border. And that's very much what's happening today. We're seeing what's happening now. All of that stuff was starting in the 80s. We're seeing the result of all of that work that was done against migration at that time is sort of coming together. So the fight continues against that kind of nationalism. We have to call it out, and the Centro is very much an institution that exists for that reason.
Yes. Thank you for those words. Can you maybe help us understand the relationship between art, cultura, and politics in our community, the way that you've been kind of expressing so far?
Well, I think art, visual art, performance, performing arts, food, the way people dress, cars, it's very much the fabric of the culture. So it's not, and that's what's so different in terms of our own aesthetic, I think, the indigenous aesthetic, the Chicano aesthetic, is that it's very much a part of the fabric of our being. It's not separate, and that's why it's so relevant in terms of our moving our existence.
So, what is one salient memory that you have of the Centro during your time here as a curator?
Oh my God, there's so many. I want to also mention Mary Watto, who's the director of the Centro. At the time that I was here, and unfortunately lost him not too long ago. But I remember during that time, one of the most important things was it took place at the border. There were these anti-migrant activists at the border, right at the border, and there were a workshop and Oscar Madres did an incredible performance piece at the border, holding up beers and reflecting the lights back across the border workshop. Organizing a march, that was a revolution.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding us of the spirit of Larry, who remains here, and we definitely want to acknowledge that and honor him. So maybe we need to bring you back. Yes? Thank you, Patricio. Thank you. And I'd like to turn it over to the streaming live, or streaming in from New York, of Eloisa. So welcome, Eloisa. And we have provided you with the questions, and we would also like for you to speak on the memory of Larry Bassa. Thank you.
Hi. Well, I wanted to say that it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you all today, and that my time at the Centro, which began in 1990 and went on for about 5 years, was very demanding. It was exhilarating, and it was an honor to be there. But Patricio and I were only two of hundreds of people that uplifted and strengthened the work of the Centro at that time. So those people included artists, co-curators, interns, volunteers, board members, and audiences themselves, technicians, funders, arts reviewers, collaborators. I mean, there were so many people. It was this giant circle of giving and receiving. And so there were about 300 artistic events that I participated in. And I just want to say some of the names of the people that I feel, although I don't have time to say what they did, that their work was meaningful, that they showed fierce determination for their vision. And it was a vision that uplifted our community. And so as you hear these names, I want you to just allow them to seep into your consciousness and uplift you on that level. Bill Caballero, Adolfo Guzman Lopez, Mary Lou Valencia, Karen Atlas, Samuel Valdez, Dora Arriola, Juan Pasos, Eduardo Parra, Evelyn Diaz Cruz, Macedonio Arteaga Jr. and Alicia Chavez, Ethan Vantilo, Victor Payan, James Luna, Stephanie Heil, Luis Alfaro, Yareli Arizmendi, Jerry Keems, Pura Fe, Olympia Beltran, Jose Torres Tama, and the entire Enrique family, artists, curators, presenters, directors, and one film festival, Ethan Vantilo, who still grows our community and nourishes us all. So thank you for letting me be here. What I want to say about Larry Baza is that it was a pleasure to work with someone who was so encouraging, not just to me and my work, but also to anybody that entered our doors at the Centro. And I dream of him. I know he's present with us now. And so, Larry Baza, presente. Thank you.
Wonderful stories of the people that have represented the Centro Cultural de la Raza. I also wanted to thank Maria and Eloisa and Patricio Chavez for sharing their stories. It's wonderful to hear the words from actual people that have made this Centro alive. Okay, so just remember to please go to our GoFundMe page and find El Centro Cultural de la Raza so that we can continue to pass on the legacy to the future generation. Now, once again, here we go with a vignette. From 50 Years of Heartbeat es el presente.
El tanque, an empty bare concrete water tank. We got working. We cleaned, we swept, we rehearsed, we organized classes, events, painting, danza, pottery, screen printing, arts, crafts, teatro. But first and foremost,
the bare cement walls were scrubbed, primed, and readied for Los Murales.
our empty water tank was not meant for habitation, but we built talleres, a floor-to-ceiling gallery, a second-story office space, a kitchen, a stage. It took years of insistence before the city to install indoor bathrooms. Until then, the public facilities were all we had. We created a safe meeting space for artists, organizations, and support for other movimiento struggles. Chicano Park, the Pinto Union, indigenous rights, mechas, teatros, concerts, fundraisers, Chicano studies, and always for families together.
Artists, activists, and community organized and formed coalitions, work groups, created a board of directors, and named executive directors to deal with the city, Balboa Park, funding sources, and state and federal authorities. through hard work, discussions, and care for all it represents, we opened our doors in July 1970 as the non-for-profit community arts organizations we honor today, el Centro Cultural de la Raza.
Los mezclan, alurista, yermo, queso. Otros muralistas, la familia Enrique, el tío Moreno, el teatro, mestizo, students, parents, families, danzantes, teatristas, poetas, volunteers, all built the Centro. The first permanent mural in San Diego by Chicano artists, conceived by Guillermo Aranda, the Centro, La Dualidad, the outer murals and all the murals standing throughout our community, as well as those we've lost, are testimony to the Chicano movement struggle in San Diego and our history fighting for recognition, respect, and self-determination. The Centro would not be here now if all who came before. Through the years, the Centro has honored as sacred the passing of community members, artists, and loved ones who have preserved memories, contributed, and placed in our existence.
Also recognizing and honoring our place in this region as borrowed from native peoples, the Centro stands as caretaker of these lands. Through our Raza Visions 1 and 2 funding campaigns, volunteers, board, advisory members, and families came together to create a community compost station, garden, and walkway around the perimeter of the building. Caring for the land responsibly, the Centro is working to build natural spaces for outdoor use. And as benefit from the land, the outdoor garden is producing and has become a safe habitat for monarch butterflies.
Even after dark times and the unrelenting pandemic, the Centro is still standing, creating, and supporting the community. The 50th and 51st Virtual Chicano Park Day celebrations, SDSU Chicano Studies Department's 50th, food drives for migrant families, and much more. The gallery has been renovated, voluntary advisory relationships established with architectural, agricultural professors and students, local artisans supported through the monthly outdoor Tianguis de la Raza, and La Tiendita, redesigned and expanded. All this with contributions and volunteers from the community and their families. San Diego High, SDSU, City College, Autonomía Xochitecyo, Media Arts Center, SD, and many, many more. Recently, the Centro completed its first online Hora de Cuentos live stream of children's books read by artists, authors, and volunteers, and a children's book drive support by Libros and 100 books donation for the newest project, La Bibliotequita, Colibri Library Center. During the pandemic interruption, exhibitions, meetings, class, presentations, and community events evolved into virtual connections. Under current pandemic restrictions and following COVID-19 and city guidelines, the Centro is planning for a return of on-site programming and rental availabilities for class, workshops, gathering, conferences, and private events.
Reestablishing liaison between Balboa Park and city administrations, the Centro now has working outdoor lighting fixtures and is in negotiations for roof and building upgrades, as well as addressing the virtual needs for these times. There is so much more yet to be done.
Through the years, all growth brings challenges and cycles up and downs. Through the good, the bad, and the good, the Centro is here and here to stay. From Chicano movement, community, cultural arts activism, many cultural centers were established across this land. The Centro Cultural de la Raza is one of the very few to be named and one of the largest and longest lasting of its kind. 50 years. The Centro still stands after 5 decades. The board of directors, advisory committees, volunteers, and artists stand firm to face the challenges of today's, to support growth of the artistic missions envisioned and established more than 50 years ago by creating in the present, respecting the past, and honoring the Centro's future en la cuña de Aztlán. The working Centro leadership and volunteers are committed to maintain the Centro Cultural de la Raza as sacred space on borrowed land for a safe place to create, promote, provide, preserve, and educate about Chicano, Mexicano, Indigenous, and Latino art and culture for all, and for all to come.
Ese, you know, oh, sorry. Continuamos con el florecimiento de este Centro Cultural de la Raza. Y aquí conmigo, today we have my friend Monica Soria. But first, I'd like to hand it over to CEO Berco Enterprise and the former director of Visual and Performing Arts at the Sweetwater Union High School District and Emeritus Artistic Director at Southwestern College, Bill Burgess.
Hola. Thank you very much. It's an honor and pleasure. Es un honor y placer estar aquí at the Centro. Now, the Centro is the heart of San Diego. So if you want the heartbeat keep going, please, please donate some money. We need you, okay? Go to the GoFundMe page and, dig into your little pockets. Doesn't cost much, and this is for our future. Now, speaking about the future, the Centro is a volunteer organization, and we have two great volunteers, Leah and Lisa, right? Yes. And tell us a little about how long you've been, and tell us a little about what you do and your passion, and why the heck are you here? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hi, my name is Liz Watto, and I've been a volunteer here at the Centro for about 4 years. I'm also part of the AAC and the board. And right now, I am going to be introducing the Tiendita project, which I am part of as well. But before, I'll let Leah introduce herself.
My name is Leah Oviedo, and thank you. I started volunteering here in 2019.
Okay, so I wanted to just share a little bit about what La Tiendita is. It's a collaborative project that started in 2018 here at the Centro. The Tiendita started as a small pop-up here at the Centro and contributed to opening up the doors for the community to engage with this space, as well as supporting the Kumeyaay women in Baja California, the CNI, and the EZLM communities by selling their artesanías and engaging people with the awareness of the current situations of these indigenous communities in Mexico, and to promote the traditions of rebelliousness that is a part of our culture. And this also aligning with the Centro's mission. The Tiendita was led by a collective called Hormigas Autónomas y Rebeldes that volunteered their time to managing the Tiendita, as well as offering to care for the Centro space at the Garden Centro space. The Tiendita has since grown favorably, and a new collective is leading the project, Autonomía Xochitequio. With the donations from sales and the Raza Visions fundraising in 2019, we were able to create a physical artisan space here at the Centro. Now La Tiendita project houses more than 20 local and regional vendors and has continued to support the collective vision for the garden. On behalf of Autonomía Xochitequio, we want to thank the Centro for believing in this collaboration and all the vendors who trust this effort to create a new type of commerce in the region. Thank you so much to Argelia Ramirez, Alfonso Herrera, Alicia Siu, Di Zamora, Cali Arte, Andrés Aguilar, Cristal Lira, Abel Macias, Cynthia Shop, Detention Resistance, Esmeralda Hummingbird, Emma Avila, Francisco Garcia, Hechicera Potions, Gerardo Diaz, Mariposa Healing, Zodiac Candles, Nahuatl Books, brought by Delma Calvario, the Kumeyaay women, Ofelia and Yoli, from the different communities in Baja California, Pac Fungi, PM Books, Sam de los Cobos, Rosa Barajas, La Sexta Grietas del Norte, and the Rincón Zapatista from Mexico DF and Guadalajara. And congrats to the Centro on its 50 years.
Thank you. My name is Leah. Oh, I already said that. I volunteer in the garden. I started in 2019 with a collective or crew of other volunteers. Prior to that time, the garden was filled with beautiful yucca, agave, a nopal, but there wasn't much space for us for other stuff. Now we have been able to add to this garden native, drought-tolerant, and edible plants. We've also been able to transform parts of the garden, create new steps, seating areas, and spaces for people to have classes or groups. We've also created a pathway that goes around the Centro, where visitors can see what is in the garden. Some of my favorite projects in the garden are the Three Sisters. It's the maíz, calabaza, y frijoles, and it is a traditional indigenous American gardening technique. We also planted a milkweed garden to help save the endangered monarch butterflies. Volunteering at the Centro has been an amazing experience for me. I am very grateful to be here, and I'm honored to be a part of the 50th anniversary. Thank you for your support, and thank you to the community for supporting us.
Well, thank you. That's a lot of people, and I know those three sisters. I date them. I want to know that you gotta come and help. You know, this volunteerism is everything, and we thank you very, very much because that's the heart of the Centro, the volunteerism. And I took a walk over there. It's just beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, and keep on volunteering. Right? Okay. Now we're going to go to the final act of 50 years of Heartbeat. This is El Futuro.
Of movement. 50 years of heartbeat over the 5 decades of work, blood, sweat, tears, frustration, patience, tolerance, vision and love, imagination, and undying creativity. The empty water tank you stand in is still El Centro Cultural de la Raza, by, of, and for all.
The future brings each our present through our past. We have made it this far, and we will continue to the future. Aquí estamos y no nos vamos. Arte, cultura, palabra, vida, aire, agua, tierra, vida, sol, luna, estrellas, vida, peces, víboras, pájaros, vida, microbios, plantas,
Y derechos ajenos, respetados y abusados, reconocidos. El pasado es nuestro, la presente es nuestra, vida, estudios, es nuestro,
científicos,
vida, hoy, siempre,
analistas,
sigue el movimiento
sociedad,
es nuestro, florecimiento,
vida, paz, dignidad, respeto, vida, amor, conexión,
apoyo, vida, venga a unirnos en el Centro Cultural de la Raza. Microbios, plantas, animales, vida, carbón, pasto, paredes, vida,
pintura,
madera, papel, vidas,
actores,
ellas aunarse con nosotros. Patricio, ensayistas, muralistas, vida, madera, sociedad, vida, paz, dignidad, actores, danzantes, científicos, vida, pintores, ensayistas, realistas, vida, comunidad, sociedad, humanidad, vida, paz, dignidad, respeto, vida, amor, conexión,
apoyo, vida, prometeo, persevere, y también aquí, vida. Amor, protección y apoyo, vida. Querido Roberto, Earth Spirit, en la que Gala vida. ¡Que viva el pueblo! ¡Que viva la raza! ¡Que viva el movimiento! ¡Viva! ¡Que viva el Centro Cultural de la Raza! ¡Que viva!
My name's David Avalos, and I was born here in San Diego. My name's David Avalos, and I was born here in San Diego, raised in National City, and have lived most of my life in National City. My parents came from Mexico. My mother was from Guadalajara. I was from Guadalajara. My dad from Durango. There is a regional culture, a bilingual culture that exists on both sides of the border. For that culture, the border doesn't exist. The border has disappeared. And I think that that's part of what the Centro is all about. That's essentially what the Centro is all about, accepting what we are in our own terms as a result of our own investigations and promoting what is native to this region. There is an open invitation extended to anyone who feels they have something to express. And the criteria is not a long resume or great demonstration of technical skill. Rather, the criteria is if you have a desire to express yourself, then come on over and we'll see what we can do to help you and encourage you to express yourself. I think that that element still exists, and that element is really, it has to, if anything is going to be considered Chicano art, it has to have within it an invitation to anyone from off the street to come in and participate, either as a viewer, an audience, or as someone encouraged to say, well, yeah, I can do that good, and try themselves. While at one end you need experts and people that are very well trained, you constantly need the influence and the energy that can only come from communities and the streets. And I think that that's something that Chicano art will always have to fall back on as far as an inspiration. That's a community itself, as long as it keeps in mind this openness about accepting and encouraging any expression in the community. What is our art doing to increase the power of our community, to meet its needs, and to attain its aspirations?
Y seguimos con el florecimiento de nuestro movimiento. Estamos celebrando este 50 aniversario del Centro Cultural de la Raza. Y como les decía hace rato, tengo conmigo la compañía de Mónica Soria. Mónica has served the Centro Cultural Board since 2014, and she's here to share a few thoughts about el Centro and her role. And how do you see the community how do you hope to see the community to support the Centro?
Well, first of all, Ariana, thank you
for being here, everyone. I believe that the 50th anniversary is extremely important. We lie on the legacy of the Chicano power movement, which was created by community members here in San Diego. And so for this to still exist after all this time is a victory, right? I believe that what created this was people power. And so what we need are community members to come back to the Centro and continue the work that we're the foundation that was created at that time. But not only is people power a way to help the Centro grow, we also need funds. So if people could please come and support the 50th anniversary for the Centro's GoFundMe, we'd greatly appreciate it. And again, thank you everyone for supporting the Centro.
For sure, make your donations, people. Apoyen a la raza, apoyen el Centro, because we need it. We need it to run and continue the legacy that our ancestors have left for us to continue, right?
Definitely.
Excelente. Now I'm going to actually pass it on to one of our volunteer members and who's also very involved and who's not only a volunteer, but he's a doctor. Dr. Roberto Hernandez, who's a professor of Chicano and Chicanx studies at SDSU and current volunteer, like I said, here at the Centro. Welcome, Roberto. Show the community what you brought to the Centro.
Gracias, Ariana. Sí, gracias. Good seeing you and good seeing everyone here. Want to just also send a special thank you to everyone who's given of their heart over the 50 years to be here. Myself, I have to admit, first time I ever came to Centro, I was 14 years old and I saw this fist sticking out of the wall. Ever since then, I knew I'd be coming back to this space and be part of this space because it really captured the spirit, the energy of resistance, the energy of resilience and wanting to struggle and be all the best that we can for our people. So that's why I'm here. That's why now that I'm a professor, I bring my students here, I bring my classes here, I make it a point to build even community projects for my classes out of Centro, because as I tell my students, el Centro es el que no trabaja, the Centro belongs to who works it. If we don't come and volunteer, right, being all volunteer basis, if people don't come, then all it is an empty water tank. It's wasted space. But ultimately, the Centro is what we make of it. So the more you, all of us give to it, the more the beauty that can come out of this space.
Excelente. We also have Argelia, who's here representing our library at the Centro Cultural de la Raza. Argelia, tell us about Colibri. What do you think about, having this biblioteca for the kids, and bringing it to the Centro Cultural de la Raza?
So, hi everyone. As she says, my name is Argelia, and I brought the project of Biblioteca Colibri to the Centro last year, and we are aiming for this to be a little library for youth, for children, and we want to incorporate this library into the Centro in a way that it also supports and fulfills the Centro's mission. So we want to focus the stories, the books that we have of Chicano, Latino, Indigenous authors and stories, and we are very excited that this little Bibliotequita Colibri is taking shape. We have right now been focusing on the actual building of the space, so this will be a very small but very significant little library. It will not be a lending library at first, but maybe in the future it will now work as a reading room and a space where we might have programming in the future.
Have you hosted already reading in public to
Yes. So obviously during the pandemic, we started by doing virtual story time.
Nice.
So having volunteers and myself host stories of different authors, and we hope to continue that in the future as well.
So how can our community support the Bibliotequita Colibri?
Well, right now, if you are in the position of being able to donate something, we hope that you do, and part of it will support the Bibliotequita to help it shape itself. So we need some furnishings, carpeting, everything that will make this space comfortable, and a working space for receiving children and families into the Centro to host different different events.
Excellent. And what kind of books do you read to our kids, just to give a little bit away of, of what the book is all about?
So obviously, my recommendation for families is the books that you read to your children will be as unique as your family is. So things that represent your history, your culture, and the languages that you wanna keep alive, right? And that's one of the things we want to do at the Bibliotequita. We want to be able to have a lot of books in Spanish and in other indigenous languages as well, to expose kids to the culture and the arts and the danza that is live and living here in Centro. So Bibliotequita aims to do that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Argelia, for all the trabajo que se hace, and equal to you, Roberto. I know that you're both always here. I see the pictures online, and the Centro Cultural de la Raza, and always keeping it alive, and that's good. It's good to have active members, who contribute not only to continue our cultura alive, but also to have services for our community, where they can find a place and feel like at home, basically. Welcome, more than anything. Well, don't forget to go to our webpage, GoFundMe, is Centro 50th anniversary, and put some money in there. We need it in order to, make this Centro continue to run and continue to fulfill our hearts.
Thank you so much, Argelia, Roberto, and Ariana. The Bibliotequita Colibri is one of my favorite projects that I've been blessed to be a part of here at the Centro. It involves the youth and it involves the future, just as we've been discussing. It's important to understand our connections to our history, to our culture, to our own personal family stories, but it's also important for us to teach and share those to the next generation so that they can find their own way. So next, it's amazing to be able to be here inside of the Centro on this stage in an atmosphere where the walls have so much history, and I get to introduce a special closing to our virtual gala kickoff. Accompanying us through live stream is a person of many accolades, whom we are fortunate and so honored to have join us. As one of the Centro's earliest directors, and most recently as the first ever Chicano United States Poet Laureate, the distinguished poeta, teatrista, músico artista, Juan Felipe Herrera.
Muchas gracias.
Although by all means, feel free to share your palabra on anything that comes to your mind, whether it be what years you were involved, active at the Centro Cultural de la Raza, what was your role here, on a salient memory that you have about Centro during your time here, or simply something that you'd just like to share with the community to connect themselves further.
Oh, well, I want to congratulate everybody for so much great work that you've done, and so much participation, and so many beautiful projects that continue, La Tiendita and Biblioteca Colibri, and just the new generation of Centro Cultural Toltecas, seers, visionaries, dancers, artistas, all of you, the whole community. So just a big hug, a big congratulations, many gracias for all the hard work you've been doing and you continue to do. More than anything else. I guess what I'd like to share is that, I was thinking recently, what is it that really moved all the work that we do? This movement, this cultural vision, what is it that really, what's at the heart of it? What's at the core of it? And it occurred to me that it was a very basic thing, and which is kindness, which is a compassion, which is embracing our communities. That's really what it is. All this hard work about bringing up our indigenous cultures and what they are, and the stories of our peoples, and giving materials and offerings and workshops to our communities and to the children in our area, and the painting and the dancing and the hard work of the Centro. At the core of it, I've been reflecting, is kindness, and everything else blossoms from that kindness, because we're working here to offer our hearts, to offer our time, to offer every day, to work harder, to keep the Centro open, richer, deeper, more expansive, new concepts, new ways of doing the art that we love and that we want to support and present to our communities throughout the world, throughout San Diego, of course, but throughout the world. And at the core of all that is kindness. Otherwise, you and I wouldn't be doing this. We would have a particular career, a particular job, and that would be it. But this is a day-to-day, day and night vision and practice. So muchas gracias for what you're doing. And I'm so happy to accompany you on this 50th, imagine, 50th anniversary. And I remember those days coming to the Centro and becoming director of the Centro. And I also remember the earlier days when I first went to Las Cuatro Milpas in 1956 in Logan Barrio, where I lived and for a while. So keep it up. Muchas gracias. And kindness is the strongest force there is. Sometimes we think it's information. Sometimes we think it's something more aggressive, but it isn't. The strongest force is a force that comes from our hearts. We can find that force if you want to, even deeper. Perhaps all the sources that we are interested in, the sources of culture, the sources of song, the sources of dance, the sources of coming together. The sources of all those things are rooted in offering something from our lives, in our lives, into this infinite space. This is called Let Us Gather in a Flourishing Way, which I wrote in those very early years. And actually, this was my first book. Rebosos, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know how I'm presenting it here. Rebosos of love we have woven, sudor de pueblos on our back. And this was published in the Centro. So I thank the Centro for my first book. And muchas gracias. It has meant a lot to me, and I've read it everywhere that I go. I read it everywhere that I go. So you are with me at all times in this libro. Let us gather in a flourishing way, with sun-loose sunlight grains, abriendo los cantos, opening the songs que cargamos cada día, that we carry every day, and el young pasto, the young grasses, nuestro cuerpo, our body, para regalar, to give and give feliz perlas, pearls, happiness of corn flowing árboles, trees of life, árboles de vida, en las cuatro esquinas, in the four corners. Let us gather in a flourishing way, contentos, filled with happiness, filled with strength, llenos de fuerza, tu vida, for life, giving nacimientos, giving new beginnings to fragrant ríos, to new rivers, sweet, dulces, frescos, fresh, verdes, green, turquoise, strong. Carne de nuestras hijas, flesh of our daughters and sons, hijos, rainbows. Let us gather in a flourishing way. En la luz, in the light, y en la carne of our heart to toil. In the flesh of our heart to toil, tranquilos, at peace, in fields of blossoms, juntos together, to stretch los brazos, our arms, our embrace. Temprana estrella, early morning daybreak star with the rain, en la mañana, in the morning. Temprana estrella on our forehead, early rising star, cielo de calor, heaven of heat and wisdom to meet us where we toil, siempre, always in the garden of our struggle and joy. Let us offer our hearts a saludar, our águila rising freedom, to celebrate our águila, eagle, rising freedom, a celebrar, to celebrate woven brazos, branches, embraces, ramas, piercing, piedras, nopales, cacti, plumas, feathers, bursting figs and aguacates and avocados ripe, mariposa fields, butterfly fields, and mares claros, and clear oceans and clear seas of our face to breathe, todos, all of us, and el camino, on the road, blessing, seeds to give, to grow, Maiztlán, the sacred city of corn, en las manos, in the hands, de nuestro amor, of our love. Muchas gracias, queridos y queridas. Thank you, my dear brothers and sisters, for inviting me today. I wish you the best in this fundraiser.
Hello, Sean. Thank you so much to everybody who helped make today possible. The countless volunteers, the tech crew that came out of nowhere and supported us with our vision and our dream, to all the CAC and AAC and board members and regular volunteers, irregular volunteers, everybody and anybody who's made today possible, whether you lent us a cord so that we could have this mic set up or if you just stayed by and helped us with some paperwork. Just want to say thank you so much. And we have a very special ending. So I'd just like to say that in one of our earlier meetings, we thought we're thinking of dreams like we kind of always do in a meeting. We just dream about the different things that we'd want to do when we think about an event. And Inuat, the current vice president of the Centro Cultural de la Raza, said, you know what would be beautiful is if Son de San Diego would make a song for us. And so Eduardo Garcia, a very special thank you that we get to share with you right now another perspective of how the Centro touches and impacts just everyday people in the community and helps them connect to that is within themselves already. From the point of your existence, you have something inside you that is beautiful. And the Centro is meant to help you find a way to express it. And so, without further ado, I'd like to offer to you a beautiful song by Eduardo Garcia from Son de San Diego. If you'd like to meet and partake in their energy, they're here on Saturdays at 3:30.
El movimiento ocupó edificio abandonado y en su centro convirtió a promover su cultura. La gente se dedicó y aunque a la ciudad no guste, el centro prevaleció. Florecimiento sostente el jardín comunitario donde la tiendita se encuentra un dispensario el tianguis mensual sustenta intercambio solidario.
Y más un proyecto para hacernos olvidar. Nuestro movimiento, nuestro movimiento, continúa el florecimiento, continúa el movimiento de nuestro florecimiento, nuestro florecimiento, continúa el movimiento.